Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Cool People. Throughout the last couple of years since starting my gender transition and through doing all the public speaking about trans issues and trans awareness training, I've met all sorts of amazing people with incredible stories to tell. And so I decided to actually do a series of interviews with some of my friends, just to share my friends with you. And I think they're all really cool. But the two we've got today, we've got real double trouble, I'll tell you. We've got a pair who are radio presenters, among many other things. I'll let them tell you all about what they do. But they're great friends and they're great fun. And this pair of reprobates are responsible for keeping me up till nearly 3 o'clock in the morning drinking recently. But they can talk about that as well. Really bad influence. Anyway, welcome to Cool People, Michelle Moorhead and Rachel Cruz. Hi there.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Katie.
You two are such a bad influence, I tell you.
Well, really? Put the Scouse and Geordie together. Well,
I know.
This is straight trouble.
Yeah. So, so Michelle, should we start with you? Do you want to just talk about your story?
Yeah.
Well, my story started when I was really young. I think, like a lot of trans people, we know very early on. I was basically about 6 years old. It's hard to explain to somebody who isn't trans, but I had that massive urge to dress in my mum's clothes. Now, I think a lot of us have the same story. You just want to be a girl. But I was brought up in the northeast of England. If you don't know me, I'm from the northeast. I'm from Hartlepool, where it's very traditional. A lot of people's attitudes are very traditional. It's very much, the man gets married, he has his kids, and he's the breadwinner of the house. And that was the bit, that's what I grew up with. And that was making things like want to be a woman, I want to be trans, or dress as a girl, God forbid. It was almost impossible. It was looked down upon. And I was terrified. I was really scared. But I had this uncontrollable urge to dress. Whatever opportunity I got, I became an absolute expert at folding clothes up in drawers because I have two brothers. So there was only my mum. But I can tell you stories of pulling drawers out completely out and folding things back perfectly. But this, I have this incredible urge to be a girl. I'd do it, and then I'd feel absolutely disgusted. I'd feel awful. I'd feel like I'd done something beyond wrong. I'd done something that I really shouldn't have done. So that went on for years and years. So it became like the deepest secret that you can ever imagine. So that went on for... Oh, wow. It went on most of my life. And it was unbearable that I had this secret because I'm a very open and honest person. What you see is what you get. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So having a deep secret like that wasn't easy for me to cope with because I really overthink things and I'm really conscientious. So that was really hard for me to do. Coming from a very, very close-knit family in the northeast and being terrified, and I mean terrified, anybody find this secret out. So this went on for years. And I did what a lot of trans people do. I buried it away. I threw myself into playing football. So I played football a lot. I had quite a few friends growing up as well, outside of school. I'll get to school in a minute, but I play football all the time. I devote myself to doing that. I know I'm on radio. I do radio now, but I used to do little radio shows and things when I was a kid. Just anything as a diversion to push away from it. So this went on through my childhood. It went on for years and years. School, I didn't enjoy school. I got bullied a heck of a lot because I was very quiet and because I was brought up in a manner that I was scared to show any emotion. That most of it, this would have been, thinking back now, it's because of the trans thing. But I was very scared. I was fragile. I was always frightened about what people thought of me a lot, because I'm from a very, very conservative background. So it wasn't, you didn't want to stand out in any way possible. So that was always hard for me. So at school, I got bullied because, I was the easy target for them. I wouldn't fight back because I'd worry about if I said something back, what they'd think of me. So I bunked off school, I'll be honest. The last 2 years, I didn't spend much time at school and I couldn't wait to leave. Then starting my working life, I was still the same. I was still a shy, very fragile kid who, let's be honest, hadn't lived much of a life, was very internal and didn't want people to know things And I didn't have a lot of friends when I left school. All the friends I played football with and all that growing up, I lost them because they started to do what they would be expected to do. And I say this a lot when I'm talking in public, but they went off and they got married, they had kids, things like that. But it just didn't sit with me at that point. I had girlfriends. I tried the dating scene and things like that, but it would never last because I didn't feel comfortable being the man in the relationship. I couldn't see me playing that role in a long-term relationship. It was never going to work. So it never did. So again, I went from, playing football, then I threw myself into playing golf to the point where I was obsessed with playing golf. I was getting in from work and I was practicing for 6-8 hours a day.
Wow.
I was playing in county competitions. I was running a golf society at work to try and fit in and everything else. And it just, you can only do it for so long, Katie. You can only do that for so long. I think the breaking point for me, I did start to let myself go and think, look, you're going to have to do something about this. So then I started experimenting. Growing up, I was too scared to want to go outside as Michelle, and she wasn't even Michelle then. I would never even dream of doing them things. Really, the advent of the internet really helped me because I started, like as you do, you Google, because growing up, all you have is this seedy image of being trans. In fact, I didn't even know it was called transgender back in them days. In the 80s and the 90s, you'd see, there was like the George DeJulia thing. You may remember that back in the 80s. But then you had programs like Eurotrash. So my parents would sit and watch that. And that would scare me to death because it would be just open season to take fun out of people who were trans. Yeah. And it would be as a joke. Same as, a lot of the things at the time, you had like Alf Garnett for one. That was very much seen as a dirty thing. Or anything else. So you had all of that going on in society that was totally acceptable to make you take out of people who are trans. And the tabloids, not to mention them as well, it would always be a sex change and it would always be a sexualized thing. So you're growing up with all this in your life and it makes you really, really scared of this deep secret you're carrying. But it gets to the point, like I say, you can't do that for anymore. So the internet comes along and then you start buying things in secret because I was still living at home when I started doing that. And I was trying, experimenting, I didn't have a clue about anything. As I always like to say when I'm speaking, there's no transition for dummies in any bookshop because there isn't. We don't know how to do makeup, you don't know hair, you don't know what to wear, you just don't have a clue. So you go through that stage where you're wearing clothes that are way too old for you, in my case, because you think that's what you should wear. So that went on for a while, but I got a breaking point. It was my brother's wedding. I was the best man that day, and went really great. I'd never actually spoken in public at that point, so it was really hard for me to do something like that. So I did it, did a great speech. I went to bed that night, and that was basically a case of, look, he's getting married. Where are you going with your life? Because this had been bubbling for about 3 years at that point. It was like, look, are you going to do something about this and take control of something? Because I was always scared to do so. Look, you're going to have to do something about this. And that was the point that I started really delving into what it was going to be like to be a woman and starting to think this impossible dream, which it always had, was, look, that'll never happen. It'll never happen to you. You can never get to that end of that rainbow. But then it started to become reality. It wasn't a case of wanting to, I had to. So that was a point when I told my parents, which I'm sorry to say, like a lot of trans people, that didn't go well at all. I was instantly, I'll tell a lie. At first I told my mother one day and I wrote this massive letter. It took me 2-3 weeks to write. And I give her a letter and at first she was like, well, what's this? So we but then I cried and we got tears and everything else. And she said, look, I'll not tell anyone if, and then I've got a list of rules like your dad doesn't find out, your brother doesn't find out, this doesn't happen, that doesn't happen, So she found a situation she tried to contain, which at first, because, I didn't know where it was going. So at first I was like, I don't want to take this any further. It's just, it's dressing up. But in truth be told, Katie, I knew that it was more than that. So anyway, this went on for a while. To the point where I had to leave home because I couldn't live like that no more. I had to be Michelle. So I got my own place and then I started meeting friends, which was, as you know, because I've come from this background of it's seedy, it's dirty, it's perverted, it's wrong. So all these things going through my head to start actually meeting people online, expecting, but we didn't know what to expect. But then having this inner drive that, look, you have to do it. You've got to go forward. You have to push yourself forward. You haven't got a choice. It's like some sort of zombie taking you over. So that was when I started to meet friends. I met my great friend from Leeds, Anna Marie, who you know yourself. Anna was fantastic, and we started doing different things. We started going out shopping together, things like that. And them early days of going shopping was petrifying. Going shopping, things like that. It sounds so silly, and anybody else take it for granted that you can go shopping and clothes shopping and everything else. Doing it for that first time for somebody trans, it's terrifying. So we do things, and then we found out about an event in Leeds called Leeds First Friday, and that really was it just changed everything because it was so accepting. We found lots of people like myself, and that was really game changer for me. So I started going out, of course, and I didn't come out with family properly at that point, so there's only my mum knew. So I've been going out in Leeds regularly. I started meeting lots of friends. I've met some fantastic friends. I've become friends for life. And we're all on a journey. We're all in different stages. Some are just starting off. Some are married. They've got kids. They don't want anybody to find out. You know yourself what it's like. And it got to the point where I ended up living a double life. At work, things were going good. I've worked myself up to being a manager at that point. I was in charge of 40, 50 people on my shift. So I'm doing daily briefs. I'm doing everything externally and running the Golf Society that you'd expect me to do. And it was like there was nothing going on. There wasn't even an inkling until eventually, I just couldn't take it no more. And then the turning point for me, again, there's always been little pivotal things. I always describe my transition as like going up a set of stairs. There's always like, you get at one step and you're okay for a while, that'll do. And then you get to the end of it and you have to go up another step and another step. And you just keep pushing forwards and forwards and forwards until you get to that end goal. So I was living a double life, and you can only do that for so long. Again, because I'd reached the top of that step, I had to do the next thing. Yeah, and you've got to do it, but you have this internal drive that you've got to keep moving forward. So we went to Leeds Pride that year, and that was my change. It really did change, and I've met some really pivotal people in my time who were further on their journeys than I was at the point, and they've been amazing, and they've just really changed things, and shown me that's why it's so important that we're out there. We are on the internet, we are making speeches, we're doing public appearances, because there's people out there they are that scared person that I was, and they're showing they can do it. So we did Leeds Pride, and it got to the point where I had to come out of work because I was literally living a double life. It was crazy. Even the neighbours, because I moved house, introduced myself to all the neighbours as Michelle. Everybody knew I was Michelle, but I was going to work as the old me. So it was like sneaking in and out. It was crazy. Honestly, swear. So I was sneaking in and out. So I was like him during the day, coming home at night, and I'm like running in because I was growing my hair as well. So it was getting more and more obvious at work as well, because I was trimming my eyebrows. I was having laser surgery. She's laughing. I was having laser surgery. It was all going on, and it was just work didn't have a clue. They were just oblivious. I mean, it was dyeing my hair, my eyebrows were shit and everything, and they didn't know. But it got to a breaking point with work where I had to do something about it. It was actually after my 40th, because on my 40th birthday in Leeds, there was literally 30 people at my birthday, and then I was there 2 days, and there was like people came from all over the country just to say happy birthday to me, because I was inspiring them by this point, because you know what I'm like on Facebook. I'm on Facebook quite a lot, so I do live videos and stuff. And again, this is inspiring people again. So I came up with my boss at work. He didn't have a clue what to do. He's never met anybody trans, but I'll never forget the night that I told him. It was one late shift. It was in January. It was miserable and dark outside, and I was terrified. I told a colleague at work just before that, and she was great. She was really supportive. Told HR, but they said, look, you're going to have to tell your boss. So I went to tell my boss. He didn't know what to do, I'll be honest with you. But the best thing he did was he just hugged me, and we both ended up in tears. He said, I'm behind you, Michelle, 1,000%. And he went away on that weekend. He got as much information as he possibly could about being transgender. He came back with a paper this big. He spent all weekend researching as much as he could. He came back to work and he said, look, right, I'm with you. We're going to do this together. Take as long as you have to take. If you want to go to meetings, I'll come with you. He took all the pressure away, and that was the best thing he did, Kate. He said, right, you concentrate on the time when you are ready, because at that time I wasn't ready at all. I couldn't have went to work as Michelle, because I work with 400 people. It's a big place, it's distribution center, and me being a manager, I know everyone and everybody knows me. So, and as you know, with the distribution or transport industry, it's very, very 99% male. So, and especially in the Northeast. So, I told my boss and went, right, okay. And then that went on for the next 9 months. We'd have a meeting every day to look, how you doing, Michelle? Everything else. And that went on for months and months, to the point where it was actually him, because he said, look, we're going to do it on this date. You got a calendar, you went, right, we're going to do it then. Because I had just honestly, Katie, went on and on and on. So he said, right, we're going to do it in October, Michelle. I think it was October. We'll do it that day. You're going to take a week off. So I took a week off from work, and I got away from home as far as I could, because I didn't want to be brooding on it going back. So I went mad for a week. I went down to Manchester. I went down to Wales to go and see my friend in Wales. We stopped in Carnarvon for a few days. I went down to Cardiff. Anything I could to distract me from what I was just about to do. But work were told while I was away. They were told on the Monday. And the messages of support I got was immense. I was just getting people I'd known for 15 years. I was getting lots of support. Can't wait to meet Michelle. And the support was amazing. It was mind-blowing to have people, because before I did it, I was worried there'd be certain people who weren't going to take it very well, and they're not going to get it. But it was great. So I'd have that support instantly, to the point with it boosted my confidence up to the level I thought, yes, I can do this. So I remember recording a video introducing myself to everybody at work, saying, hi, I'm Michelle, everything else, as I do. I can't wait to come back to work. So like I said, I went away, I went mad for a week. And then coming back to work on the Monday was huge, because I did not expect. And the boss came out, Keith, and we walked down the distribution centre together. The other shift were just finishing off, and I remember walking in, and I wasn't nervous. It was like, look, this is you. You have to do this. And the reception I got was brilliant. We got down there, and everybody's fantastic, and it was great. And work has been really good ever since, really. I've never had any issues. Of course, I got misgendered at first. That went on quite a lot, and I got the wrong name a lot. But that's to be expected. Some of the colleagues I work with didn't know how to approach it. So I thought the best way to do it is just speak to people one-to-one and say, look, I'm still me. You can still talk to me about, if you spoke to me about football last week, you can still speak to me about football this week. I'm still me. I'm just happier. And the amount of comments I got was like, I've never seen you so happy. You're beaming. There's an aura around you. And that's what I got a lot of, because
I get the same, exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. This explosion of me coming out, and it was awesome. But then
that's a big win. An explosion of you coming.
Definitely. But it was great. And then a couple of months later, I got in touch with a friend of mine, Len Montgomery, who you know yourself. And he said, look, Michelle, he rang me up, and he said, look, you're really inspiring. We want you to come and speak in London. So I went, wow, can I even do that? So I went down and said, okay, I'll do it. I went down to London, and I did a speech for Sainsbury's just over a year ago now, where I told my story and everything that got on. And it was great. And I'm hooked. I love it. So I've went on from there, and I've built on it. I've done road shows. I've done the Prides. I've spoken at Stonewall at the Workplace Conference in Manchester last year, which is huge. I should have been speaking last we've had to postpone for now, but I should be speaking at the London Workplace Conference. And it's great. I'm on the LGBT team, and I'm so blessed to work for such a fantastic company. We are now in the top Stonewall 100 list with Sainsbury's. And I am so excited about where this is going to lead with Sainsbury's, because they are fantastic. I've never met such a group of people like them. They are so enthusiastic. They want to make a difference, and that is amazing. To be part of that group of people is great. And also, while I'm talking about what happened as well, I've missed out on another important factor. I mentioned when I was young about the radio. Trans Radio UK, a very good friend of mine, Lucy Clark, gave me the opportunity in Leeds Pride to do some interviews for the radio. I was just interviewing people, and I did it. And then about a week later, she came back and she said, "Look, Michelle, that was great. Do you want to have your own show?" And of course, because when you're a trans person, you don't want to go through life with regrets. And I've had so many regrets, and I live for every single minute. And if something comes my way, I'll grab it with both hands, because I've had so many years of letting it pass me by. So I jumped on it, and she said, "Yes, I'll do my own show." And I'm so pleased to say that's been going on for nearly 2 years now. And it's really took off. It's helped me confidence. It's helped everything for me to be on Trans Radio. And then I got involved with my local radio station, Radio Hartlepool. I'm now doing the evening show. I'm going to be doing the drive time show shortly as well. Which is probably equally, maybe slightly more important in a lot of ways, because it's not a transgender setup. It's not a trans radio station. We're in a little town in the northeast. There's about 30,000 or so listeners listening in every week. But they've probably, again, never met nobody like me. And that's why I love doing the road shows, and I love doing public speaking, because I try to be positive, Katie, because it's my journey may come across to some. Maybe people watching this now think, well, she's had an easy ride. Trust me, I have not. I've been through hell and back. I mean, my family, I've been disowned by them. My mum and dad came back into my life for a while and stuff, but I've got two brothers they can't accept me. I have a 3-year-old niece who I never see, or my godparent too. So I have a lot of negatives in my life, but because I don't want to miss out on anything and I want to be me, I look at the positives in life and I don't let them things get me down. I mean, she knows they do. My guard does drop. I'm not superhuman, but I just love being positive. I love telling my story to people who've never met anybody trans, because it's so important to share this story, because we can do it even in a little northeast town. It's the same as any little town, not just the northeast. It's the same all over the UK as it is in parts of America and everywhere else. You get a small town, small mentality type thing going on, and they don't accept you let alone for being trans. I mean, gay people still get ostracized, or lesbian people still get looked at funny in the street. I mean, it's 2020, to be able to show what I've done, show my story, but do it in a positive way, and just help people to say, look, it's not impossible. You can do it. If you want it hard enough, it is out there. Even for somebody that wouldn't even put the hand up in the class at school because they were that scared what people were going to say about them. So it's just great. And I'm so blessed that I have the opportunities I've had with the radio and with Sainsbury's as well, and whatever else comes. I always say that, I had a future that I didn't really want. I didn't really want that future, and I did nearly take my own life a couple of times because, it was in a really bad place. I'd lost my family. I felt like I needed their help and support and their love, and it was took away. Everything was took away, and I was basically left to my own devices. And thanks to friends in my life, they've kept me going, they've kept me strong, and they've kept me moving forwards. And that's where I am now. And it's just, I just want to be positive. I really don't like negativity, especially in the media, and even more so when it comes from trans people themselves. And it's like, why? Let's be positive. I do get that, people are still transphobic. They are. And there's a long way to go. And educate.
You're never going to win. You're never going to win them round by shouting at them, though, are you? You're going to win them round by being happy and bringing them on side.
The best thing, Katie, I always say when I'm speaking as well is, we're normal people. We're no different. Because I've transitioned, I've still got my mortgage to pay. I still have to go to the shops. If I want to go a bottle of milk, it doesn't magically appear outside the front door. You have to go out and do these things. And if you go out and you meet people in public and just say, look, so what? Being trans it's a non-event. It's a non-issue. And eventually, I honestly believe, eventually it will happen where it's nothing. She's trans. Oh, is she? So what? And that's where we need to get to. But as you say, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long time. There's still a lot of people out there. Some people, I don't think you can educate. You can try. But the best thing, I always try to be very positive and be normal. And that's the best thing you can be, is be normal and be positive and try and educate people if you can. But if you can't, you know, you just do what you can do. But the best thing you do is have a smile on your face and just be normal. And because people are just people. It doesn't matter whether you're gay, you're lesbian, you're trans, you're non-binary. It doesn't matter at all. You know, this outside is just a wrapper. You're inside, your soul's inside. And that's the person you are. That's the person you are. It doesn't matter about the external. People see the external, make a judgment on somebody, but people shouldn't judge people. You know, we're all different.
Absolutely.
We're all different. And how boring would it be if we went?
Absolutely, you know? Yeah. Well, thanks ever so much, Michelle. I mean, you always are so positive, and yeah, it's fantastic, and I think you always get such a great message across just by being you and showing that you are happy.
Well, thank you.
And that, you know, that really comes from the heart. Yeah, because we've had a similar sort of journey. Yeah, so
absolutely, Katie. That's why I admire what you do, because you're the same as me. It's always a very positive outlook on life. I mean, I feel, honestly, I've wasted so many years. I live for the minute, very much like Rachel does, and I'm so blessed that she's in my life, because she keeps me strong. Anyway, I'll let you know.
So, Rachel, you did say that you wouldn't get a word in edgeways, didn't you?
Yeah, well, it's going to take a couple of days, so it's just so we get that over with. But I knew all that, and she inspires me every day as well. It's given me time to think, and I am going to say a lot of things here because it is relevant, you know. So where I am today, you know, like on the radio and working for a company that accepts everybody for simply who they are, you know. But I'm going to wind that back. And my dad met my mum, and his brother asked her out, and he was going to take her to movies at 8 o'clock one night. Well, my dad fancied her, and he turned up at 6. I love him, he's cheeky like me, and said, "Oh, we can't make it, you know. But I'll take you to movies." My mum said, "Well, actually, you know, it was you I wanted to go with." 2 days later, we were married, and he was at centre training. They were going to Burma, and this is also relevant, by the way. And just before he got deployed to Burma, my granddad got killed by a flying bomb. You know, landed on the house, killed him. My dad went home. All his platoon got killed. He shouldn't have even been there. They had 3 boys and a girl. And my mum was just midway through 40s, was out of breath, and she was pregnant. And it was me. Hey, Rach, can't keep quiet. And I wasn't planned. Yet in a later life, I was the one that cared for them, you know. So my mum got dementia. I gave up and managed a job for British Gas and stopping relationship. She was cheating on me, and my focus for me was my mum and dad. And I had to care for my mum. I mean, Christmas Day, I carried it in my arms into the city centre for an hour. No cars passed because to see my dad. There was nothing of her. She had osteoporosis, and I planned a few funerals on my own. And because the dementia kicked in, and my dad was dying with emphysema and stuff and things, and I was able to dress up a bit at home. You know, no one came to visit. I could never get away from being Rachel. But back to me, I was 4, and I used to sit down and have a wait. I think that was so comfortable. And so I thought my mum should be able to stand up and that, and I caught it in my zip once. That wasn't fun. Didn't like that. No, I'm sitting down because that's what I should do. And through my teenage years, you know, there was no awareness because obviously I'm 53, which, you know, on my birth certificate has 6 November 66, and then it says 53 years old. I don't need you to tell me that prescription, sorry. I know how old I am, just give me the date of birth if you have to. And there was no awareness, Katie, there was no YouTube, there was nothing in the media about certain things. And like Michelle said, it was a she-male, with a dick and things like this. It was shocking. And the amount of clothes and underwear thrown away, I used to, my sister ended up living with us again with a son who was one, constantly come in bedroom. And I got a lock on the door, but there was an ulterior motive. I can dress up. If your mum knocks, I've got time. So I used to step out of a tracksuit by the door and I'd have a dress on, but I wouldn't put makeup on because my mum, I couldn't get it off. So when she knocked, I could just step into the tracksuit bottoms, pull them up, top on, zip, and it just looked like I was in a shell suit. Well, not a shell suit, another scout set. I was going to say, right. Calm down. But yes, that's how I went through teenage years. So, like Michelle, I got engaged over my lifespan 6 times, and I actually got to the altar once. And I'd paid for everything, an engagement ring was £8,000, and I'd been with her 5 years, and I thought, I can do this now. I've been engaged many times before, obviously too young in the past. And in the 5 years, I never dressed. I was, I never dressed. Now, fortunately for me, back in my early day, I became a black belt second dan in jiu-jitsu, and I became a professional dancer, and I danced all around the world. I done breakdance and body pop in the 80s. I danced in Ibiza for all the DJs all around the world. I've danced in front of thousands of people in Ibiza on beaches in Miami and stuff, which brings me to my point in a moment. So we split up. I got to the altar, and in that instance, I had this courage, blonde Rachel all day long, and I just stopped it. And her family weren't a nice family. They were there for the 3-day out, and I'd pay for everything anyway. I took her to one side, and it broke my heart. But I had to be true to her and true to me, and for me personally, true to God as well. So, and it was a rough couple of months. The drive home, as you can imagine. I then went on to become homeless. So I was living with a friend who tried to assault me. Fortunately, because I can protect myself being a second-hand black belt, I got out. My ulterior motive was, let's get out. So I managed to not hurt her and block her, and she sat down, and I seen an opportunity to get out the door, and I did. And I ended up sleeping in the bush by Manchester Ship Canal. I was tired, fatigued, and I'm in this bush crouched up. And it was surreal. It was so cold. And when you go to sleep in the cold, it's okay at first if you're quite warm, but then it hits your thighs, and your calves. And then I thought, well, I need to get up and start walking about. And I'd walk into city centre, and it was mid-November / December, and people were going for Christmas parties, and it was hard. I had work the next day. So I thought, what can I do? Where can I go? Now, luckily, I had my bag on me. I had some makeup in, and I had a razor back in the day because obviously my electrolysis hadn't started. And I went to the bus station, freshened up in the morning, and I went to work and smashed my sales. Told the director, because it was an SME company, said, listen, this is what's happened. They were very supportive. Went to the council, got a place, lived in a hotel. And then I started my journey, and I went to Daventry. In the good days when, it was 6 months for first appointments, on estrogen by 12.
Wow.
200 appointments, and within 3 years, I'm post-surgery now. So it's a year post-op on April 25th, 3 years on estrogen. And I was ready to meet my partner. And Sarah Armstrong sent me a friend's request because we were on Nuffield Bells. Yeah. And I'd already come to the conclusion, obviously being a professional dancer and not being shy, I'm going to go out and look for this wife to be. She must be out there. God help them. And
exactly.
She sent me a friend request, and I'm in a lot of women and trans groups because my positivity is seen by members on different sites and say, Rach, will you come and join in? My glass is always half full. The only way is up, and you're never going to put me down. I live each day like it's my last. I want today to make yesterday jealous, and I don't waste a second, you know. And I seen Sarah's profile. I looked through it, making sure if it was anti-Trump, great. But I was looked down the profile, and it was all positive and good points. But prior to the profile, there was a picture of Michelle, and there she is, you know, starts clocking her out. She lives in Hartlepool. Where's that? She's got a job. I'll have to move to here. This is what was going through my head. I was
on the radio, wasn't I?
Yeah, she was on the radio, and I simply messaged her to say, you know, we were messaging. She was doing a Saturday show.
I was.
And I said, "She might come Manchester sometime to be in for." She said, "Yeah." So I said, "Was that a date then?" Because I'm not getting any younger, Katie. You know, I'm post op. I'm ready to go. I am now officially a lesbian. Let's do this. And anyway, she said, I said, "Is that a date?" And she said, "Maybe it is." And then I said, "Right, I'm going to call you at 12, and it was 11:58. I said, "You're 2 minutes away from the best of your life."
She really did.
She will be mine. It was like Will when he sees that guitar on the window. It will be mine. Oh, yes, it will be mine. And to bring this to a close, and I know I haven't gone through it as much as Michelle, but what I would say is, as a trans person, we all have a journey that for us is incredibly hard, you know. Fortunately for me, my mum and dad, you know, are in heaven, and I've got a lot of touch with my family, and I had to build a new friend network, a new safety blanket, you know, find your tribe and love them hard, and don't take your focus off the finish line, you know. You've got to love yourself first and foremost, and give yourself the love you freely give to others. And until you do that, you won't progress.
Yeah.
You need this inner safety circle. It's like a ripple. As you start completing it, you end up at this life, and it will happen. And do you know what? I tell you now, having transitioned, this virus is sad times, but it's not going to beat me. It's not going to beat us, because we haven't gone through. I believe that, you know, you go through things in life for a purpose, and you have to stay positive and do not waste any second. I mean, I can vouch for Michelle. Of a weekend, we're awake by 7:30. We have breakfast in bed, and the day's young, and we just don't waste. We don't waste any time. And
I thought you meant 7:30 p.m.
Oh no,
Been on a night out.
that's what it's Christmas. No, and to meet yourself, Katie, you know, at the Trans Radio Christmas ball was just lovely. You know,
That was
like
great.
It was. I recognised you right away because I'd added you through friends.
We've been chatting for a while.
But I'd added Katie through you and stuff and things. And from those early days where you think it's just you, to all these, like, your family, like when we done Pride for Trans Radio at London and Leeds, you're so emotionally broken with love. Like, you cannot explain that feeling. And that's the same for every single Pride you do. And to be now on Trans Radio, you know, the final part of my journey is voice therapy, which now is on hold again with Newcastle because of what's gone on. So by the time they get round to giving me my first appointment, I've probably nailed it. I'll still have my scouts.
It's so hard though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked on the phone for 20 years, Katie. I get misgendered often on the phone. And I introduce my name and where I'm calling from. And it doesn't faze me. And I have gone on to have such wonderful conversations where I seen a woman was in Brighton once. I mentioned my surgery, and oh my God, she knew me surgeon, Mr. Thomas, by the way, Casey. It was such a small world. And I can always just turn that into a positive, you know. Even when it's like, my name's Rachel, and then there's a pause. Rachel. Then you go, can you just spell that? Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel. And then that's a girl's name. And at that point, you go, well, that's him transgender.
It's the best way in it to be forward with people.
But I say, I don't look like that guy off Benidorm, you know, reception. I'm only 5 foot. Well, I used to say 5'10". Apparently, I'm 5'8" now because estrogen's powerful, you know. I'm size, my feet have shrunk, my height shrunk, everything else. You'd be brave. A lot of things got a bit bigger. Yeah, so my note would be, to finish this, would be, don't waste any second of every day. I know it's hard for you if you're transitioning, there's so many sisters and brothers. The waiting times are ridiculous, but you need to stay positive and stay focused and keep your eye on the finish line.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
I'm not used to being serious.
And listen to Trans UK.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put a link onto Trans Radio UK at the end of this video. So
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we both have a lot to thank Lucy and Avril for.
Oh God,
we are really, really great friends. And it just opened up so many doors with being on Trans Radio, having that audience of people. What I love about it is you get people who are just starting off the journey, don't you, Rich?
You do. Yeah. I mean, I tell you now, Katie, I used to have about 110 people on my Facebook, very, very tight knitted. And it wasn't about likes on my posts. But when I started working for Trans Radio and trying to get the awareness of the brand, I have 2,500 friends now on Facebook.
Wow.
And you may have noticed if I put a post on in the Daily Story, I get over 100, 200.
It's about inspiring.
But it's about inspiring people and being positive. And I'm on transgender goals. I'm like on the admin, on like the management team, and we just don't do negativity. There's enough of it, There's a lot of trans people that go on about the bullying and the negativity, and we know that's there. I'm, like I said early on, I'm fortunate that I can protect myself. I never came across bar twice of an incident where I had to sort of bring into touch that I had that self-esteem and security of being able to protect myself. But it's just being positive, and it's getting harder. And this situation now has put things back for a lot of people, even people who from the LGBT spectrum as well.
Yeah,
so
I agree with what Rachel's saying. I mean, there is still negativity out there. I've had some really, really bad experiences, and it really, I've been threatened in public before, ridiculed in public on several occasions. I've been laughed at. I've had people shout things at me. I was in a supermarket once, and there was a guy with a young kid, and I was literally minding my own business. I was walking up the aisle, and I heard this roaring laughter, and the guy was literally rolling on the floor with his little kid next to him who was about 6, absolutely wetting himself because he'd seen me. So I've had lots of things. Me and my friend Sarah were in a pub one day, and we got threatened. They were going to smash our face in. They were going to do this, and we got threatened. They ended up throwing them out. I was terrified, Katie. To the point where I got home and I went, look, I can't do this. I can't go any further with this journey. I'm going to have to stop. But I wouldn't let it beat me, because the next day I'm straight right. I'm going straight back out again. I'm going to be me. Because if I don't go back out again straight away, I'll never go back to being me again.
But to bring that onto a positive, so as a trans woman, estrogen will change you so much over the years. I don't look like I used to look. And personally, I've seen pictures of Michelle, like from day one transition. She looked a million times better than me. I just looked like a gay man, with a bit of makeup on. No, she did. And I had the safety net of being a black girl second dad in Judith. So.
Yeah, this is why Michelle, go and wash up. I do.
No, but like,
don't argue with them.
What I would say, like, with regards to transgender family is, you just got to keep focused and be positive, And for me personally, I think when there's negativity and transphobia, again, using that as the topic, they're jealous to see the confidence in yourself and the courage to step out, because there's so much ignorance in how people act. Because, in general, if someone's happily married with children and are being brought up correctly, it wouldn't faze them who you were or what you wore or how you dressed or how you spoke. It simply wouldn't matter. And it's all about the education from the very beginning. And what I haven't done Pride with Michelle and seeing, we were in Oxford Road in London in Gay Pride, and we went to the Burger King. It was sort of at the end of after the parade and a bit after that. And Michelle was at the counter, I got a table, and this little girl had this big reel, and it was the LGBT flag in a heart, stickers, Katie. And I could see her looking at her mum and saying, and she went, can she come over? And she came over, and I went, can you have one for my girlfriend? And she went, who is she? Went, it's her there. and I just thought that education there and then is what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It is completely. And that's what.
It's normalising it. To go back to what I was saying earlier on, we just normalise it. It's nothing. It's just, we were born this way. We've corrected something. That's pretty much it.
And I think what Katie's done today, which is such a fantastic idea, and I love the slogan "Cool to be trans," Katie. I absolutely love it, and I think you doing this these meetings through Zoom and stuff, I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's really positive. Yeah, it's really good. Really positive.
Oh, well, thanks ever so much for joining in on this. And it's been brilliant.
Thank you for asking us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
I couldn't not ask you, could I? I mean, let's face it.
And this has been a Scouser. You'd have seen the wheels nicked on the car. Yeah.
No, you're right, Katie. It is inspiring, and we are a family. People who are trans and most times have went through a lot of hardship in their lives. It's certainly not a journey you would ever choose. This is what I don't get when people say, "Look, it's a lifestyle choice." It's not a lifestyle choice. You would never ever put yourself through this. I mean,
nobody would they?
I know personally what you've been through yourself. And I know what friends have. We're going through this now. They're going through a living hell. So it really annoys me and rattles my cage when people say, "Oh, it's a choice." It's not a choice. You're just born this. If it was a choice, I would say probably 9 times out of 10 we'd say, right, if there was a pill to cure this, would you have took it? And I think most people would say, yeah, I would. Because the hardship you go through, the people you can lose. I mean, I've lost family. A lot of family. There's a lot of my family don't even know that I'm transgender. My granddad, for example, 6 years, he doesn't even know. He's never seen me, and things like that. It hurts. It really, really hurts. When all you want is the love of your family, which is so important. You've been through this yourself. You understand. It's the hardest thing to do, and I always think, like Rachel said, you accept yourself, but it's the most guilty thing you can do as well, and it feels like the most selfish thing because putting you first, yourself. For me anyways, especially for myself, was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because I always think about other people's feelings before me. But with this, you had to get to a point where, look, this is me, and I have to do this for me.
I just want to finish this on a positive.
I've been really serious, and I'm
going to finish this on a positive bio.
Yeah, it is positive,
which is on my Facebook. Okay. And I was so impressed because I came up with this myself, Katie. And because I use Pinterest a lot to put positive posts across all the sites that I'm involved with, I seen something similar, and I thought it really meant a lot. And my bio simply says, love yourself, you're amazing, there'll only ever be one of you.
Yeah.
So thank you, Katie.
Yeah.
I want to finish that on a high, yeah? Thank you so
much. Thank you.
And thank you for asking us, Katie.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
No, you're welcome.
You are so positive. You put out such a great message.
She does. And when we met her, when you came in, when I met you and you were frozen, you were smiling and positive, and that vibe, it's infectious, and that's what we have to have.
Absolutely.
You've got an opportunity to be you, and it cannot be easy. It won't be easy.
You only have one life. You've got to live it and make the most of it. And one life can go. Your life goes like that, and it's gone. You blink and miss it, and before you know it. And another analogy I always say is, look, I didn't want to get to being sat in a nursing home and thinking, I wish I'd done it. And I didn't want that in my life. I didn't want to get there and think, look, I wish I had took that chance.
On a positive note.
No, it is positive. I wish I took that chance, and I wish I'd done it.
I warned you, Casey.
Grab every day by the horns. If you have a dream, go and grab it and go and do it. Be positive and just go for it. In life is too short, and before you know it, it's passed you by. And
Absolutely.
just do what you have to do. Well, whatever your ambitions are. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful to have you two in my life. Just knowing that you two are so positive, and the sun shines when you're there. So it's great. It's lovely.
We're looking forward to hooking up with you again.
Friends for life.
When we got into January, we were like, we done a list for the year. We're like, right, we're going to see Thea in Wales, so, and we're like, we definitely want to see Casey News, 1,000,000%, 1,000,000%. We had it all sort of mapped out. Well, obviously, it's gone a bit on the back burner now, but look forward to seeing.
We will.
And I say, but I think it's so important telling stories like you just told today, just to show people, because I'm on a mission, as you know, to do two things. One thing is to reach out to other trans people, to let them know that it's okay to be trans, because it really is to be trans, and that you can have a good life as a trans person.
You can.
And the other thing is to educate the general public, and I think by what you two have done today, I think you've helped further that cause. So thanks ever so much.
You're more than welcome.
And what I'd say is thanks ever so much for watching this episode, and please catch up with me on the next episode of
Yay, follow Katie. Bye, darling.